eat any food for 4 days, they measure how much calories you're burning. Your body is burning 2,200 calories. Your basal metabolic rate didn't go down. It went up. Your body's activating itself during fasting, which is fascinating because if you're trying to lose weight, dropping that basal metabolic rate is death. If you drop that metabolic rate, it's so hard to lose weight. That's what the calorie restricted diets did. That's what the low fat diets did, the eating all the time did. But when you actually fast, your metabolic rate went up. And we see this in study after study. And the reason is actually basic physiology. It's actually medical physiology, like first year medical school stuff.
So your metabolism increases when you don't eat food. Well, believe it or not, he's a little bit right and really fucking wrong. So I think this is the research article he was referring to where they fasted for 4 days, but they actually called it starvation because this is back in 2000s when no one thought that fasting was cool. And sure enough, it did show that resting energy expenditure does increase in early starvation. He said standard physiology. He's referring to norepinephrine and the fact that your adrenaline system would be spiked. This should be a basic premise that acute is not the same as chronic, which you also learn in medical school, but he kind of looks over this part. Do you think the body's always going to be okay with starving itself? Well, we can just directly compare it because you're making the calorie restriction diet sound like shit. This one compares them very directly over the course of 6 months to a year. So this is what they found. Funny enough, they found the alternate day fasting had the highest dropout rate. Then they also found the mean weight loss was similar for both groups. So they concluded that the alternate day fasting did not appear superior for adherence, weight loss maintenance, cardio protection versus a standard calorie deficit. And then he said the calorie restriction diets really beat up your metabolism. Okay, so we should see a difference here, right? What they did in this study is they actually used doubly labeled water in order to determine what the calorie output was and to make sure that they're having the same calorie restriction based on output and intake. And they found that they were very comparable, which means there's no difference in metabolic output. I thought this is supposed to speed up your metabolism. I do agree with him that there is an inappropriate calorie deficit that does beat up metabolisms over time. This is your total daily energy expenditure, which is your metabolic rate out. And if people are trying to do a calorie restriction that is less than their BMR, they are usually going to end up losing muscle mass in the process. Not to mention, you'll also probably get a bad adaptation from non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is your spontaneous movements throughout the whole day. So you're naturally going to move slower throughout the day, burn fewer calories. So if you're in too much of a calorie deficit routinely, that is bad for the metabolism. And look, all diets are hard. Even though there was a higher dropout rate in the fasting group, even the regular calorie restriction still had 29% of the people drop out. All calorie deficits suck, but really hesitate if you're a yo-yo dieter and a binge eater around the alternate day fasting that can really just facilitate that problem more forward.